7 p.m. We'll call this meeting to order. We have a scout with us tonight that will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Dillon?
Here.
Doan?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
Meismer?
Here.
Reagan?
Here.
Barnes?
Here.
Ganson?
Here.
Martindale?
Here.
Silver?
Here. Thank you. Is there any additions or deletions from the agenda? Hearing none, approval of the minutes of the January 24th, 2017 meeting.
So moved. Second.
Margie made the motion, Hazel seconded. Any corrections? Roll call, please.
Barnes?
Aye.
Thomas? Doan?
Aye.
Meismer?
Aye.
Reagan?
Aye.
Ganson?
Aye.
Martindale?
Aye.
Silver?
Aye. Thank you. Next on the agenda will be the community police report, and before I turn it over to him, I'd like to formally introduce some people to one of our newest lieutenants on the Peoria County, soon to be Lieutenant James Fairbanks. So congratulations to James.
I appreciate it.
And his wife.
My wife Tiffany. I'm the romantic that I am. We took her out for dinner and then to a city council meeting. So, but no, before Cody goes, I wanted to make sure I was up here tonight. I wanted to thank you guys again for the second time for allowing me to be your community police officer for a while. Wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for the people up here and the support and everything that I've gotten from everybody. Most rewarding thing I've done since I've been on with the county is been able to serve the people up here. So I just want to tell everybody thank you, and I appreciate it.
So we get to look
Congratulations.
forward to Cody on days now?
Yeah, Cody's going to days.
No wonder he's smiling.
There'll be a change.
And then a yet to be named player for second shift. Probably, we're hoping maybe late this week or early next week we'll have somebody named that'll be coming in taking Cody's spot on second shift. So be in good hands.
So basically what's gonna happen is Cody's gonna take James's spot as a community officer through our federal grant, and then hopefully the other officer will take Cody's spot that was doing our other community.
Yes.
So, and Dewey told me that he would call me.
Good. You'll probably know before I do.
This is not the last we've seen of you, though.
What's that?
This is not the last we've seen of you.
Oh no. I'll probably just be sitting down in the church lot like I normally do, just taking calls from down there. So I'm never gonna go too far. So from up here, so
to lieutenant from that position.
yeah. Lieutenant Buckley, Lieutenant Watkins,
Gay.
Captain Gay. So yeah, just trying to follow along in a good line of people who come up here and set the path before me. So
You got a high standard.
Exactly.
Hands up, Cody.
that's right. A lot of crime fighting up there.
Tons.
But no, thank you all. I appreciate it.
Well,
You got
after
it.
that, actually there's no news is good news. Property crimes are low. Just about every category we're single digits still, so that's all I got. Nothing significant, no traits or any patterns with anything. That's it, sorry.
Thank you, and just keep up the
We'll try.
good part. Okay, for the mayor's report, been working with Roma on some zoning and code issues. Hopefully, might have another building that's gonna be built down on Farmington Road pretty soon. And going to the Heart Illinois Mayor's meeting in Chile tomorrow. And other than that, it's just, I'd like to, once again, tonight's gonna be one of John's last meetings, and I'd like to thank him for everything he's done. I think everybody knows John has left here and retired once and then came back. And, part-time. So, you're not the only one, James.
I know.
So, I just, again, wish John the best of luck, and, I know that John will be around too.
Yep.
After I get there before.
Item 8, auditor, introduction of Lori Johnson from Grimm and Company.
Hey, yeah. I'm Lori from Grime and Company, and here's my card. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'm the senior audit manager with the firm, Grime and Company. I've been there since '98, in their audits. The staff of Eric Jones' firm joined our firm, so I'm getting to know Joanne and Zach and Chris and all of them, and wonderful people. I'm really lucky to get to know them. Files are being transferred over to our office, so we'll have all the files that Eric had in the past. Do you have any questions, or?
Not a question, but I think I know the answer to it. Everything is computerized. So
Yes, 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 we're.
cut back on some of the paper, right?
Yes.
It'll keep us on the straight and narrow, that's all this week.
Of course. I do have a question. Is there a particular time that you like field work? Do you like for us to come out? Is there a time that
After the
works?
4th of July.
Sometime after the 4th of July? Okay.
And then you and Kim will work on it.
Yeah, we can. Okay. Keep it on, thing. Cool.
We're looking forward to working with you.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
If Eric's okay with you, I think we're okay. Jerry, Eric has been, I think, like, at least 13 years than when I was on the township board.
Oh, wow.
And 21 years I've been on the city, so.
Oh, wow.
We've known Eric a few years.
Yes, yes, you have.
Good luck.
I'm looking forward to it.
Public comment? Do you have any questions? No, we have a student behind you.
Oh, no, not at this, point, I just kinda like wanna hear it as everything goes, and then probably at the end I'll.
Okay.
Yes. Same.
Okay. Take it the easy way. Committee reports, finance, Jerry?
Finance met last Tuesday, normal houseware, reviewed the financial report, and I'm sure you all have seen the notice about the notice from the Illinois Municipal League that there might be a drop off from the state's kicking in our share of the income tax. At the same time, I'm not particularly worried because I think a fella named Madigan up north is gonna make darn sure that Chicago doesn't get cut out. If we get cut, Chicago's gonna get cut a whole lot more. So I think it was nice to be aware of that, but I'm not really concerned at this time. The items that we're voting on later on here, we already have gone over the TIF reimbursements, the item for the engineering company, the, oh yes, we did buy more salt. remember, we do have to buy that a year ahead of time. So that's, always kind of a laugh when you have no need for it. Well, we thank God every day we don't need it. Also, we had an executive session which amounted to nothing being changed. We had a question about whether we would continue the commercial sod program and the residential loan program, or help from, not only from TIF, but for those areas which do not qualify for TIF. And I said, absolutely, we are going to include that in the budget, that everybody will be able to apply for that grant up to $1,000 for various and sundry projects in their own homes, and all that, the limitations are all outlined there, can be gotten at the front desk up here at City Hall. Other than that, we closed, and our next meeting will be March 7th, 5:30 here at City Hall.
Any questions for Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry, will that residential TIF, for the up to $1,000, is the limit still the same as last year, like you're
That's
gonna, up to
our,
$1,000?
that's our
Okay,
proposal at this time.
all right.
That makes it available to so many more people, especially since last year we saw, we weren't sure how it was gonna go. It got depleted within 2 months.
Very quickly.
So it's a very popular program, and hopefully I'm sure we will probably see that jumped on immediately again this year, because everybody saw that it's a very good thing. It really helps out for people who are thinking about making some improvements, and it's just a nice little boost to their pocketbook.
It's also a boost to the neighborhood, because we also seen about 300 and some thousand.
Oh yeah, that's the other.
Yeah.
So, it improves the curbside approach, appreciation
Absolutely.
for the city, so.
Absolutely. Some bad trees coming down, new driveways that were fixed, and you just see new doors, windows,
Windows,
siding,
siding,
roofs.
deck.
So, yeah, it's a great program, so I hope residents take advantage of it.
That topside, we put $50,000 last year.
Right.
Was there any consideration maybe boosting that number a little bit?
It's proposed to $100,000.
Yes, okay. I'll leave that in your capable hands.
Thank you, Jerry. Land use, Leroy?
We have not met since the last council meeting. Our next land use meeting is tomorrow night here at City Hall at 6:30.
Any questions for Leroy? Public safety, Brian?
We have not met since our last meeting, and our next meeting is next Tuesday, right here at City Hall, 6:30.
Any questions for public safety? Transportation, Jamie?
Yes, the Transportation Committee met February 9th. It was somewhat of a short meeting due to some absence of the city street manager, city engineer, and Alderman Barnes. They were unable to attend, so Jeff and I moved through things rather quickly. We were able to discuss the ordinance of discharging storm water that you'll be voting on tonight. Also, there will be a resolution for the February 28th council meeting, as we had decided how we were going to pay for the Phase 1 calendar storm sewer project, finance, and transportation. Decided that a 50-50 split between TIF and MFT funds would be used. Other than that, that's about all we really covered. Our next meeting, there's a slight change to our normal date. Our new transportation meeting for the month of March is March 23rd, 6:30 here at City Hall.
And you want to tell them about, we have a residents that are gonna be involved on the Calendar Avenue Storm Sewer project to come up to like a little open house to find out what's going on.
Yes, that,
4:30 to 6:30.
yep, from 4:30 to 6, prior to their transportation meeting. The people of Calendar will be invited, because they're gonna go through a major change in the next 3 to 4 months due to our storm sewer project. That way, before we start digging all their yards up, they'll be invited to see what's gonna happen, give them a timeline of how it's gonna happen and what they can expect, so it's not a big surprise to them. So open house to all the Calendar people that are gonna be affected from from Waverly to Sterling Avenue. Thank you, Jim.
On the south side.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Both sides.
It's gonna affect the whole
It's
street.
gonna affect the whole street because it's gonna get torn. So, thank you.
You'll have to
for
go out of
reminding
your
me.
garbage.
Yeah.
Doubt if you're gonna be going up and down the street.
Yeah.
Until they get turned up.
Carry it over to Parker's. Thanks for the reminder, Mayor.
Not a problem. 11, new business. A is a motion to approve ordinance 2017-02, an ordinance regulating illicit discharge in connection, stormwater.
So moved.
Second.
Amy made the motion, seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Silver.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Joan.
Aye.
Thomas. Meismer.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Martindale.
Aye.
Item D is a motion to approve closure of the motor fuel tax trust account and transfer of funds to motor fuel tax checking account.
So moved.
Second.
Gary made the motion, Jeff seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Meismer.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Joan.
Aye.
Thomas. Barnes.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Martindale.
Aye.
Silver.
Aye.
Thank you. Item C is a motion to approve TIP 1 reimbursements in the amount of $1,845.25 for invoices 13041, 13042, line item 15-00-929.
So moved.
Second.
Gary made the motion, Jeff seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Meismer.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Joan.
Aye.
Thomas. Barnes.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Martindale.
Aye.
Silver.
Aye.
Thank you. Item D is a motion to approve Herman Associates invoice in the amount of $5,969.02, line item 15-00-532.
So moved.
Second.
Gary made the motion, Jeff seconded. Any questions? Roll call?
Meismer.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Joan.
Aye.
Thomas. Barnes.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Martindale.
Aye.
Silver.
Aye.
Thank you. Item E is a motion to approve Cargill invoice in the amount of $4,453.18, line item 01-41-616.
So moved.
Second.
Jerry made the motion, Jeff seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Meismer.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Joan.
Aye.
Thomas. Barnes.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Martindale.
Aye.
Silver.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm gonna be entertaining a motion for executive session. We'll be gone for a few minutes, but just in case, does anybody have any public comment or questions before we leave for a minute? Yes.
I'm like not from, this area, so I was just wondering, what exactly is TIP?
Tax.
Tax increment financing, it's an economic development tool.
Okay. And with the storm project, you guys, like the open house as far as that goes, So I was just wondering, like, how many people are like, houses are like affected as far as the need for the storm project, and like how many miles does it cover?
I think about I think there's 20 on,
Yeah.
might be 20 on each side of that. It's from Barker to,
It's from Waverly
I mean,
to
Waverly.
Sterling.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from Missouri.
So
but
just,
It's a couple
estimate
long
would be
blocks.
About 40 to 50.
Yeah, both sides of the street. The storm sewer will really only be on probably one side of the street, but there'll be some connections crossing the street, so rather than just starting it, we want to have a meeting with the neighbors to try to explain to them what the process is. Yeah, they're gonna be inconvenienced, they might not be able to get in the drive for a day or so, but, you know, the benefits of it. We've already met, because we actually have to go into some neighbors' yards across the street off of Sterling, and we already met privately, or publicly, but individually with those three people, because they're really gonna be affected, because what they thought was part of their backyard is actually an easement that we have the right to go in and dig up, and we're gonna be digging very deep in their yard. So, we met with them already and, kind of relayed to them what was gonna go on, and so now we're gonna have the neighborhood meeting, basically.
I'm just curious, how were the reactions to it? Was it like a positive, a go, or negative?
You know, the meeting with the three residents, you know, they were concerned, you know, and the one lady was concerned because somewhere another part of her garage got built on the right of way. But there's still enough room for us to work around that. And, I think they were relieved a part of it because they were under the impression that we were gonna be coming up their brand new driveways.
Right.
With all this heavy equipment.
Mhm.
And we don't know, we're gonna be coming off of Sterling Avenue and trying to work within. Is it gonna be easy? No, but we're gonna work within the easement back there so that they're not disrupted, that much. The only thing they didn't like is somewhere or another, there was a fence put up in between each yard. And that's their responsibility to take down and put back up.
I think they had another issue too that, wasn't it like in the 90s? I think the city of Peoria ran a pipe,
Peoria County.
or Peoria County, and it wasn't big enough. So now we have to go in and put a larger pipe in to handle the water that we need to move. So they're like, hey, I think there was one lady that's been there.
They thought it was done.
Yeah, we're never gonna have to do this again.
Okay.
And the reason for this whole project is on Waverly Avenue, right by the Owl's Nest and the Tartan Inn, that entire intersection, every time it rains, becomes a lake.
Oh.
And because the water, it's kind of a bowl shape and it's got nowhere to go. So what we're gonna do is move the water quite a ways away to the drainage ditch on the other side by the cemetery.
Where does this TIF money come from?
The TIF comes from we have a TIF map right over there. We have certain areas of the city that we designated in a TIF 1, which is like a redevelopment area. I don't like using this word because if you were in that neighborhood and when we brought it up and we said, well, you pick a blighted area and people take offense to that. But it's when you can utilize an area that does need some help, and what it does is basically, correct me when I get wrong, John, but your taxes will continue to go up, but what the different municipalities receive will basically be frozen. So the extra money that's going in that's being paid in property taxes, is gonna go into a separate line item called the TIF. And so that money can be used within that TIF area to redevelop it. And what we started using some of it is we did a residential TIF where we could reimburse some people in those areas that if they spent $2,000 on their house, we could give them a rebate of some money. We have some big property owners that we rebated approximately 70% of their property taxes. misunderstand, or that they think it's free money. It's not free money. If you have to, if you wanna take advantage of it, you have to pay to fix your property up, submit everything, and then you get some type of money reimbursed. So, it isn't something where people will come in and they think, oh, I got this project, it's gonna cost $5,000, can you write me a check for money? That isn't the way it works. Did I
It was.
a little bit? But, I mean, a lot of the guidelines are set up through a state statute. And, now, each municipality, you can tweak them a little bit, but you gotta stay within the boundaries of what the law is. And, we use, some of the money, unfortunately, when ads burnt. And, thank God Mark had enough insurance, and so basically, because of the improvements and stuff, we were allowed to abate, or give him, a rebate of 70% of what his property taxes are. So. It's an economic development tool to try to, spruce the neighborhoods up.
My last question, so how often do people like, renovate their houses and everything else?
Well, I mean, they can do it any time.
Well, the program that, we were talking about earlier, that was just started for the first time last year.
Okay.
Other than that, it's business development.
And the program was started in part of the TIF, and then we did a residential one where we actually used city funds for some of it. And the projects couldn't be started before May 1st, and they had to be approved. And so, there are some regulations involved, but it turned out to be a project that, once the word got on the street, the money was gone. I mean, it was pretty much, well, it was committed for. And unless somebody didn't finish a project, it was done within a couple, 2-3 weeks, I think.
And the improvements to the city were substantial, I think in the $200,000 range, so it was really neat to see it come out.
Any other questions? We'll be back in a few minutes. If I could get a motion to go into executive session.
Move to go to the executive session.
Second.
Roll call.
Hanson, Reagan,
Aye.
Holm, Thomas, Meismer,
Aye.
Barnes, Martindale,
Aye.
Silver.
Aye.
Go ahead. Thank you.
We'll call this meeting back to order. We can have a roll call.
Dome,
Aye.
Thomas, Meismer,
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
We're present, we're
Here.
here, this is roll
Here,
call.
here, here.
So let's start over. Dome,
Here.
Mayor Dillon,
Here.
Thomas, Meismer,
Here.
Reagan,
Here.
Barnes,
Here.
Ganson,
Still here.
Martindale,
Here.
Silver.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Okay, action arising from the executive session. With much pleasure, I would like to bring Kinga Kreider's name forward as our new city administrator, interim, with the hopes that she will be our permanent administrator. If I could hear a motion in a second.
I would make the motion that Kinga Kreider be appointed interim city administrator effective February 15th, 2017.
I would gladly second that motion.
You made the motion, Brian seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Meismer,
Aye.
Ganson,
Aye.
Dome,
Aye.
Thomas, Reagan,
Aye.
Barnes, Martindale,
Aye.
Silver.
Aye.
Congratulations.
We think you'll do a great job.
Anything else arising? Public comment. You look like you got another question.
Final comment.
Motion
You can ask afterwards if you want.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mary made the motion, Jeff seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So first